Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the launch of You've Gone Incognito, the Soapbox's fifth creative writing anthology. My name is Tally Varon. I'm the founder and publisher at the Soapbox Press, and I'm so excited to be your host this evening. Every year, we publish an anthology on a different theme to focus the anthology on, and we feature the most thought-provoking, striking, and fitting poems and short stories that we receive. This year, we chose the prompt, You've Gone Incognito, to see how writers reflect on their relationship with social media. And I'm so excited for you to see and hear what their thoughts are and their work tonight. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that although we're gathering in a virtual space, the Soapbox Press rests on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. We encourage you to learn the history of the land you are currently on and reflect on the past and acknowledge the changes that can be made going forward in the process of truth and reconciliation. To ensure the most enjoyable experience for yourself this evening, please note that closed captions can be enabled by pressing the captions button in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. I encourage you to use the chat box throughout the event to share your love with our performers and also to talk to each other. Now, I was trying to find a good moment to say this, but I guess now is as good a time as any. So we want you to join in on tonight's festivities and to hear your thoughts on our theme as well. So what you can do, again, in our chat, at any time throughout the event, share a 5-word story that comes to mind when you hear You've Gone Incognito. One lucky winner is going to receive a copy of the anthology. So be sure to drop your story in the chat as soon as you can. Okay, so now without further ado, let's bring our contributors onto the virtual stage. Hello, everyone. That's almost everyone. We have more. I think we have some of our contributors are a little camera shy. Nope, everyone's coming. Wonderful. So we thought that this time around it would be so great if, we could all see each other throughout all of the readings, just because we can't all gather in person, but we can still all share in each other's work. And what a lovely, lovely way to honor and celebrate this anthology. So enough of me talking. Natalie, would you like to take it away?
Hello. So I'm going to be reading 2 of my pieces today that are in the anthology. So grateful to be included in it. The first piece is called Vloggers, Bloggers, and Phone Hoggers. He treated me like a vlog channel. Tuned in, and then when the content wasn't exciting anymore, he unsubscribed. Plot twist, it was my second channel, the authentic one that had millions of subscribers and new content all the time. It was just a test to see who would stick around. And my second piece is called 21st Century Love Letter. I participate in this culture. No, I'm not going to deny it. We send memes, Snapchat streaks, Instagram stories, and think that this equates to a relationship. Do you know that I've forgotten what your laugh sounds like? I haven't seen you in over a year. We talk like we're best friends, soulmates, but I wouldn't tell you that I nearly failed the exam I studied hard for, or that I have no clue what to do with myself most days. And what about you? I doubt you tell me what's actually on your mind, despite talking every day on multiple social platforms. Did you get that acceptance you were searching for? Are you overwhelmed like I'm overwhelmed? But we are still friends, right, lover? I just sent you a funny post. Open up your phone and pretend you care. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Natalie. Kayla, would you like to read next?
Hi, everybody. It's nice to see most of you. The first poem I will be reading is one from the anthology, and it's called Our Inner Web. If consumed trauma hides inside haunted minds, then our bodies become homes for the ghosts we bring to life. Shadows that haunt our inner web, apparitions of the deepest deprivation consumed trauma hides inside haunted minds, and our bodies become homes to ghosts we keep inside. And the second poem I have is another one themed on similar theme. It's called Screens. As we withdrew, we knew nothing exactly could keep us safe. So we just kept our hands more clean, kept things cleaner than we have before, though we always kept our hands clean, right? We hold on to screens now. They're safer than bodies, haven't you heard? We're practitioners of idolatry. Instead of worshiping the god in a statue, we worship the ghost in a screen. Empty images trapped in a box, we see one another in degrees of separation and mediation. Pictures are taken, posted, seen, or scrolled past, 3 times removed from ourselves. Screens. I think I've come to fear them. They scream, can't you hear them? Or maybe a part of me just hates them the way they disembody us, make us into digitally rendered ghosts. Absent reference, just eyes that ache from the bright burning light of a screen in the dark. Thank you all.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Kayla. Before we move on to our next contributor, I also realized the book hasn't been shown even once. It's real, everyone, and it's so beautiful. So if you ordered a copy or contributors, your copies are in the mail as well. It is real, it exists, it is so, so beautiful. And if you haven't ordered a copy yet, then be sure to go to www.thesoapboxpress.com and visit our shop to order your copy. Anyways, on to more pressing matters. Our next contributor is Hassan Mohammed.
Thank you for having me, and I'm gonna read my short story or my piece called L's. The moment I got off the bus, I knew something was wrong. The same pair of eyes that had been disinterested in my presence over the past semester were now trained on my hastily retreating form. Fake smiles adorned the faces of classmates whose names I struggled to recall, and whispers I couldn't quite make out gradually faded whenever I approached. The giggles were the worst. Everyone's gazes were glued to their phones, and as soon as they realized I was nearby, it was all they could do to stop themselves from doubling over and howling with laughter. With a sinking feeling in my stomach, I suddenly knew exactly what it was that had them so entertained. Shit. How naive I'd been to have thought that a video of me getting snuffed wouldn't somehow make its rounds among the entire student body over the weekend. Diligently staying off social media to avoid the reposts, tags, and overall ridicule, of which there had been plenty upon later inspection, had done nothing to further my good karma, it seemed. If only I hadn't taken the bait of foam. You good, fam? I didn't even have to turn around to see which smartass was behind that squeaky drawl. Stevie, the 6'5" captain of our high school football team, was the classic wedgie-giving, locker-stuffing jock from all the movies and the bane of my existence. His exploits were the stuff of juvenile legend, force-feeding someone half a bottle of Pepsi spiked with Mentos in the name of grade 9 beat-up, sending another kid to the hospital for the crime of helping his girl with her homework, trying to physically dunk the shortest kid in the school as if he were a consent-free basketball, and many more. It made no sense at face value. The man was a naturally gifted athlete, but chose to dedicate the majority of his time to this. Some said his violent, sadistic tendencies stemmed from his upbringing. Others pointed to the bullying he endured in middle school for his unusually high-pitched voice. Whatever his reasons, Stevie was a maniac who, once he set his sights on them, wouldn't stop fucking up someone's day until long after the deed was done. I gritted my teeth in anger and stomped away, glancing back long enough to catch a glimpse of my sworn nemesis surrounded by his enablers and recording me with my tail between my legs. I had no doubt that little clip would somehow find its way onto Instagram before first period. As I roamed the halls, killing time before class, and faced with growing evidence of the spread of my humiliation, I recalled something my older brother said to me years ago. Kids can't even fight in peace anymore, fam. There's always some wastesuit recording their L and posting it. No wonder you have kids internalizing so much rage at school and trying to hurt people. Nobody's letting them put their embarrassment to rest. Everyone keeps bringing it up and throwing it in their face. He was right. I'd probably keep my head down for the next few weeks until the initial wave blew over, but it'd always be out there, just waiting for someone to repost. The hate would be reignited, simmering as I dreamed of retribution against my enemies. My generation's L's are eternal. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. It's always so great to hear work read out loud when you've been reading it on the page for so long. It makes such a big difference.
Thank you.
So next, Vikram, would you like to read for us?
Yep, for sure. Hi, everybody. I'm going to be reading the two poems I wrote for the anthology. And they're both pretty short because, as the titles of both suggest, they're both musings in 250 characters or less. So for the first one, it's called #viral. Viral, a word used to describe the spread of some brilliant idea, or just an amusing video, or a funny meme, or something disastrous. So that's the first one. And the second one is called #anonymity. The anonymity of the internet, so chillingly void-like, mankind's greatest ideas and most heinous thoughts out on display for all eternity. Fret not, though, because whether high or low achiever, you're destined for obscurity. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, Vikram. Next, Samuel Strathman.
Yes, so glad to be here and to be a part of this wonderful collection. So I must thank Tally and Karine and anybody else who helped to make that decision. I'm just blessed to be amongst all of you. So thank you so very much. I'm going to read my poem called Here to Observe, which is about an alien. Visiting Earth to observe animals. Here to observe. My body is humanoid. My quest to collect data on animals. The objective is far from the straight and narrow. Hypnotism lets me stay in hotels for free. Room service does the shopping, provides specimens. Transportation occurs in broad daylight, the modus operandi of my species. Black mamba on a tray, pigs wearing bonnets. Drop a live snake in a swine's belly, see what happens. Bloody interconnection. Tonight, I go on a walk, mimic the mating routines of rats as they copulate. Joggers stare as they go by, but don't put the pieces together. Perhaps I'm inexperienced. I learned to speak coyote, share a caribou pizza with them at their AA meeting. We talk hunting regimens that keep their heads straight, curse the stringiness of the meat. When the witching hour strikes, I lop off a cat's tail, take it home, pet it in the dark, sing incantations to keep the furry bugger erect, dip the tail in ink and write this confession for you. By the time you get this, I'll be on Neptune, massaging my feet with baboon's teeth. Mission accomplished. I don't know if you heard my cat in the background there, China. She was, bombing it. Anyway, all right, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Samuel. And it was very nice to have your cat in the background. It went with the poem. It was very fitting. So next we have Steve Denahan reading. Steve is based in Ireland, so he sent a recording, but I do believe that he's here tonight as well. So please feel free to say hello in the chat. And if you would like to join us live, Steve, then you are more than welcome. Just let me know. But in the meantime, oh, hello. Yes. So now we are going to play the video. Everyone bear with me for a second. Does the recording come up? Everyone sees it? Amazing.
Hi everyone, I hope you're all keeping safe and well. This is a poem called Social Media. My name is Steve Denahan, and thanks so much to Karine and Tally for giving it a home. Social media. I don't know who needs to hear this today, but you are a beautiful angel and your spirit is unbreakable. I don't know who needs to hear this today, but I have real love for you and you inspire me every day. I don't know who needs to hear this today, but Jesus is coming and he loves you and he is ready to listen. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you are not defined by what you do or say. You are you. I don't know who needs to hear this, but of course you should follow your dreams, no matter what they say. I don't know who needs to hear, but you got this. I believe in you. I love you. I don't know who you think you are, but you don't know me. I don't know why I don't have what they have. I don't know why I am not famous and they are. I don't know if this really is God's plan. I don't know if there is a God. I don't know why you won't return my calls. I don't know why I feel this way. I don't know what the point is. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I don't. I. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Steve. It was so great to have you participating and joining us tonight. So next up, we have T.
Hello. So I'm really happy to be here today. This is a poem. It's not so much a poem as some posts I made on social media with one of my friends. And me and my friend Sel have kind of written our own kind of explanations of what was going on in our heads as we were writing this. We wrote this in the last hour of December 5th, 2019. My then date had hurt my feelings and I was having trouble going to sleep. I was in one of those bad moods where you want to cry but can't. Sel and I post on the same third generation social media platform and made this together. Apart from Sel's first post, the thread received no interaction from anyone except us and someone called Cuttlefish, who favorited a few of the lines. This is Sel's forward. On December 5th, 2019, I was 1 week removed from one of the strangest intimacies of my life, and 2 weeks away from my father's surgery. The only detail I'll give is that a shared moment presaged my grim fascination with Dallas as a city of love, and that my father is still in recovery. I believed in love then, and I believe in love, and I believe in it now. This is our first thread. Sel, it's love that's in me, dude. It's like a big snake or a clawfoot tub. T, love is a love that is frozen, that is ice frozen to wood. Sel, love that is quiet lowing. Love that's an artery and a place. Love that's putting out new buttery shoots. Love that is an egg being fried in an unused gift. Love that's hot polyethylene in a tattered recipe. Love that's an invitation and a time. Love that's a happily missed appointment. Oh, that's a good one. Love that's a clean kitchen and a made bed. Love that's sleeping soundly. Love that's getting up in the night or a sobbing sound. Love that's a sobbing night and a getting up sound. Love that boards a plane. Love that steals small things. Love that's a finger in the flower pot. Love that's widening. Love that's like the smell of breeze. Love that's behind a curtain. Love around the corner. Love sitting in a small rocking chair. Love low to the ground, opaque, no weight. Love ties knots and stretches them. Love melts a bar of chocolate. Oh wow. Love tipped up in the air. Love that's about. Love that's lost a favorite hat, and love with the packaging intact. Love in every town and cave. Love you need echolocation to see. Love in the stem of a lily pad, underwater. Love tucked beneath the sole of a shoe. Love taped down. Love on a hot griddle. Love flaking silver like an almond. Love separated into oil and water, unstirred peanut butter. Love with a chain. Love that's a cat's purr and a stamp of approval. There we are. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, I love that so much. Again, so great to hear it read out loud. I feel all warm and fuzzy. Okay, so next, Abalipsa, up to you.
First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm going to read my poem. It's called Poems Follow Me. Title inspired by Safia Elilho's Men Follow Me. On Twitter, 280 characters ask me to swim to shore, close the windows, draw the curtains, hush all the ceased fields, necklace of bird cries. Threads tether me to realization. I'm bad at loving across distance. Of words, I run slowly, out of clarity, to the hills of clotted thoughts. I run as fast as my will permits to touch the face of a Sistina in limits. On Instagram, photos of excerpts teach me not to keep my tongue tied to the roof or be hospitable to strangers whose empty eyes do not discern me. I'm ruptured behind my roots. Or if my branches must, should I let them swallow my feet in its entirety, the decayed and ultimate form, morphless? Here, people change their minds like clothes. On Facebook, life is not supposed to be a tender image of death, rendered ageless, asymptomatic. Gloom is called the sound of the notification bell, so much that even the thinnest of clock hands have pained, or worse, been ticking slowly. I'm afraid to forgive the memories of one lifetime ago. But poems follow me in the narrowest corridor to hallway, into an elevator, into the restroom, parking lots, all over my news feed, even after I stay, long gone, tagged away from my mottled body to become only a phantom above the bed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic. Next, Saad Omar Khan.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to do a very short reading of an excerpt from my short story, Threads. The capital was only 2 hours away from his village, yet it felt like a different planet. The scholarship he had received to study at the National Arts Academy was generous. His parents always taught him that the state was full of a magnanimity that needed to be repaid. He learned graphic design, art, and film editing. The other students, those with money and connections, saw him as an anomaly, yet they still welcomed him to their parties and included him in their group chats on P-Note. He saw them as friends, features of a radiant new world in which he discovered himself. Ladina was one of them. They fell in love easily, the only easy thing at school. She asked him once what he wanted to be in 10 years. An artist. What does that mean to you, she asked. A stoker. Someone who forces people to think at a higher level. Someone who uses the magic of their art to force you to see the world as you see it. Ladina smiled. You want recognition. Like any artist, he said. Even if the world can't see me, they'll see my art. If they know my art, they'll know me. 2 years after graduation, he was still without stable work. It was only when he received an email from the academy for a position at the Ministry of Information that he felt life could move. He was hired quickly. He needed the job for Ladina. When she told him she was pregnant, his heart burst with the joy of new life. With his new position, the country provided him with another gift, and he took the opportunity without hesitation. He was part of the Foreign Dissemination Unit. His manager was a former Army sergeant who treated every task as a mission. When he told him on his first day that he had studied art and design, his manager scoffed. "You're no artist," he said. "You're a warrior." In March, they were told to create a poster to be circulated in Pinot. It was a campaign to support the army in the southern province. They searched for photos, videos, any images that could elicit the sense of sympathy the president wanted for the soldiers who had to fight terrorist barbarities every day. They searched for images in their archives, beheadings, weeping children, bloating bodies, icons of atrocity. He came across a picture of a soldier posing in front of the mutilated body of a terrorist. The manager saw it and told him to use it. "Crop the soldier, leave the body," he said. Put a caption saying it was a terrorist killing one of our own. Don't worry if it's not the enemy's work. It's our job to invent their history. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Saad. And last, but certainly not least, Rizvi Rose.
Hi, everyone. Thank you to Tally, Karine, and the rest of the Soapbox for having me. I love these launches so much. It kind of sucks that we can't do it in person, but this is almost just as good. So it's been a great time. I'm going to read the two poems that I have in this collection. The first one's called Imposter. There's someone else in my skin. She looks through my eyes. She thinks with my thoughts. Her fingers fit inside mine. So that she can stretch and claw my own soul away from my skin. She speaks with my voice, but not with my words. She tells me that the mirror lies. She tells me that one day the things I keep hidden away inside my head will spill out the top and all over the floor, and the people I keep close to me will be able to read it, clear as day, and they'll realize, and they'll leave. She tells me that I'm not human. Are you even human? She tells me to cut off all my hair, don't smile with my teeth, make sure you show your good side. Fake. Fake. It's all fake. There's no gap between our bodies. She's a perfect fit. I cannot tell which one of us was here first. Thank you. The second piece I'm going to read is called Compose New. Fits well with a lot of the other poems we've read today that are specifically about Twitter, because this one's also about Twitter. So, Compose New. What's happening? Fingers freeze. The blue cursor waits, blinking at me, but I don't know Morse code. I have to get it out, but it has to be done just right. Be just cryptic enough that your message will get across without them flooding your inbox. Are you okay? Be just poetic enough that people will still find it funny and hashtag relatable. Say something loud, but quiet enough to ensure you do not disturb. Say something important, something that they will want to hear, that they will like. Say it in a way that ensures no one could possibly misunderstand your words without the body language. Be yourself, but be almost someone else, and tell the truth, but almost not the truth, and compress it all, your thought, your message, your what's happening, yourself, so that you're small enough to fit into 280 characters or less. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Riz. That was beautiful. And thank you so much, everyone. That was, so many amazing, amazing, amazing readings and pieces. Okay, can I ask everyone to turn off their mics, and can we all just clap, but so we can actually hear each other clap, something that we can't do now that we're all virtual all the time. Can we do it? It cuts us all out, doesn't it? Anyways, well, it was worth a try. I missed of live events when, we all see each other in person, and then you see everyone's reactions and the clapping and the snapping, and but I guess it's fitting for this anthology, especially that we're all gathering in a virtual space when we're talking about social media and technology. Yes, Tia, at least we could see the clapping. That's true. That is very, very true. So I thought that since we have some time and we're all gathered, that in addition to reading, it could be great just to chat. So I have a couple of questions for all of our contributors here today, and to our attendees, if you'd like to share your thoughts, then please leave them in the comments as well. Hearing everybody's pieces and also reading them over the course of the last few months, everyone had very, very different perspectives on the prompt, You've Gone Incognito. So I'm curious to hear what inspired you to take on the prompt in the way that you did.
Sure, I can go ahead, I guess. So for me, it was just I was sort of just beginning a bit of a wacky phase in my writing, and I wanted to go with something that was very unusual, and I guess certainly not vegetarian. Sadly for those vegetarians, including my girlfriend who was listening. And I wanted to go with something that was just kind of weird and freaky, and that sort of seems to be the basis of just where a lot of my work is at. And actually, after that prompt actually helped me to write other, poems that were sort of in that different disguise. And I think that we all go through different, disguises sometimes in our writing. And here's China right now here. Anyway, so anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I love that it also inspired other work afterwards. That is really, really cool. Anyone else want to share? Yeah, Saad.
Hi, everyone. I think I recalled back when the call for submissions first came out, and part of the call was 4 works that kind of intersected between social media and art. And part of the zeitgeist we're in right now is seeing that social media, apart from being a way of obviously connecting and showcasing ourselves, it's sadly also an opportunity for bad actors and bad regimes to use social media as a way of manipulating public opinion and manipulating people individually also. So I kind of wanted to submit a piece that was slightly more political, kind of in tune with a lot of what we're seeing right now as far as our various elections, various campaigns that are going on in different countries that are pretty nasty as far as election interference to outright genocide. So I know that's a bit of a dark view of social media, but I also think that the view of social media needs to be out there and something that we need to engage on. And I think it's, while social media can be a force for a lot of creativity, it can also be a force for quite a bit of negativity as well. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks so much, Saad. And I think your story really captured that, especially the negative side. Yeah, anyone else? Yeah, Hassan.
I'd spoken to some younger siblings of mine, and just we were talking back and forth and getting like experiences of just what school is like for them, or high school is like for them, or high school was like for me. And a prevalent thing I started noticing was how social media factored into bullying in high school, more so in this day and age, where back when I was going to high school, I felt like when certain things happen or you walked into certain situations where it either was a bullying situation or it was violent or anything like that, it was taken care of right there, and you can leave it behind as you move on to other stages of your life. But for a lot of kids today, everyone's always recording your biggest embarrassment, humiliation, whatever, and by the time you make it to class or whatever, it's been airdropped into everyone's phone. So I wondered from what that would have been like to understand that perspective and to write from that perspective, and what it's like to walk on eggshells, knowing that you can't mess up, especially in like high emotional situations, because somebody's always recording. So I just wanted to capture that paranoia as well as possible.
It's so good to know kind of the place that you were writing that from, because you capture it really well. And even like kind of the tone of living that experience, being a student in high school when things are already so emotionally tense. And then, yeah, anyways, thank you for sharing that. Does anyone else?
Thank you.
Want to share? Yeah, Natalie.
Sorry, Riz, I saw your hand up and then I'm going in ahead of you. but I'll make it quick. So with my pieces, I just wanted to kind of capture like trends that I've been seeing in social media, and I kind of took it in the direction of social media and relationships. It just feels like followers on like Instagram kind of feel like currency now. And I feel like in this day and age, there's so much abundance of just human connection that you can have. So if you're talking to multiple people and someone doesn't satisfy just the set list of criteria you have laid out in your mind, then you just jump to the next person. But then people are quick to either entirely block someone or keep them on a line just in case they need them again. And yeah, it just kind of feels like a loss of humanity in a way. I don't know. That was just my take on it.
That's so great. It's like a really impersonal way of dealing, and perhaps the most personal thing you can do, which is forming relationships with others. Yeah, very strange way to form human connection. Riz, did you want to go next?
Yes, please. Thank you. So when I first read the prompt, I was instantly like, I don't have any poems about social media. So I had to write one specifically for it for the first time, which I have never done for like a prompt before. I usually just have them lying around. And I remember I got the inspiration from opening the Twitter, like to tweet something. And it says like compose new, and that's how you make a new tweet. And I was like, okay, but they're asking me what's happening, but they don't really mean what's happening. Social media wants you to show parts of you that people want to receive. They don't want you to send out the parts of you that you want to send. It doesn't matter what you want to say. It doesn't matter how you want to say it, as long as it's the way they want to receive it. So that's kind of how I put that together, as if I was going to tweet all those things that I wanted to say, but that's not what they want to hear. And then Imposter, I had already written about something completely different, but after I'd written Compose New, I realized they were very similar in the way that like you're presenting something to the world that's different than what you feel on the inside. So I also believe that could fit the theme. So I guess my whole theme there, wrapped in a little bow, was kind of how you present yourself, which isn't always the true version of you.
Thanks so much for sharing that, Riz. And it's also great to get a little bit of insight into your process, because you always submit to our anthologies, which we love. But after it took 5 anthologies, I guess 4, and this is the 5th one, to finally find one that got you to write something new. So, haha, we're doing something right. I'm just teasing. Did anybody else want to share? Yeah, T.
So I seem to be the only one who has more of like a positive take on the theme, because I've shared a poem that is collaborative that I made with one of my friends, because I don't know, being online is kind of fun. What I wanted to do was to kind of capture that sort of moment of me and my friend kind of creating something together that was meaningful to us, that was facilitated by the 3rd generation social media platform Mastodon, and then to kind of give the context of sort of what was going on there, what was sort of why we were talking and thinking about the things we were thinking about, which was both of us were kind of going through a tough time regarding relationships, and I wanted to kind of put those two things together, where it's the actual event, the actual making of the actual kind of making of making the posts, doing something together, and also kind of the things you bring into it, the things you bring from your life, kind of almost subconsciously into the digital world, into your interactions with other people, and ultimately into art itself. And yeah, I think in there there may be something valuable about social media, and something even valuable about the kind of the form of expression, the kind of casualness of expression that social media allows.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I think your poem was definitely one of the lighter ones in the collection, but it was also really refreshing, because it does show the way that you can use social media for the purpose that it was intended to connect, whether in conversation with a friend or kind of, Yeah, that's awesome. Anyone else? I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but it's just so great. I'm selfishly asking to hear all of your inspiration. I know. Kayla? Oh, and then Evelipsa, yeah.
So I guess my inspiration was, or with the prompt was mainly just that on social media, there are so many masks people put on. There are very different, it's a very different way of connecting to people, and oftentimes I find it doesn't actually entail any real connection. Not for everybody, but generally speaking. And so but social media plays such huge roles in our lives right now, especially considering the pandemic. I mean, the evidence of that is right here. And so I guess the poems in the anthology were primarily focused on the roles that social media has in our personal lives. And as for and again, to go back to the prompt, so I'm kind of jumping all over, but the prompt really hits home how social media can almost allow you to, go incognito, change who you are a little bit based on whatever you want, really. And so that's kind of where a lot of that came from. I found it was very interesting to be writing about social media because it's not something I really thought of doing before. And yet once I started doing it, I found that there was a lot to write about. So it's a really good prompt.
Thank you so much, Kayla. Oh, did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, yeah. Okay. One line you said, it just really stuck. I have a lot to think about, but oh, thank you. I'm glad it was a good prompt. And Evelipsa, did you want to share?
Yes, mine's a slight funny one because my mom usually doesn't go through my phone, but one time she did, and she pointed out that my Twitter is overflowing with poems. And it suddenly hit me that social media can make it seem like folks aren't really immediately reading and liking your work, and it isn't making or any certain impact, but it isn't really so. This is kind of an inspiration behind my poem, basically. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that is so true. I mean, yeah, we never really know the impact that something that we put out there has on someone else, because someone can really be affected and inspired by something that you've done or said online, but they won't interact with it at all, so you'll never have any idea. Oh, that's beautiful. I think that was everyone, right? Or am I missing someone? Yeah, well, thank you all for sharing. I really appreciated that. And I think when I go back to read the collection another time, I'll have all of your voices and thoughts and stories in my head echoing as I read your pieces with a fresh set of eyes and ears. So before we start to wrap things up, just another friendly reminder that if you would like to share a 5-word story on the prompt for all of our attendees here today, for your chance to win your very own copy of You've Gone Incognito, then please drop your story in the chat. And now I would like to invite Karine Lee, the editor of You've Gone Incognito, to share her remarks. And before Karine, you speak, I also just wanted to say a huge thank you to you for being the brain of this anthology, for coming up with the prompt, to pouring through all the submissions, to working tirelessly with all of our contributors to ensure that every word and comma and period and line break was perfect and in the right place. Karine, you've done it all. So thank you so much for bringing this anthology to life. So thank you. And now, oh yeah, let's clap for our editor. Yeah. Okay, Karine, the floor is yours.
Oh, thanks so much. You're too sweet, Tally, really. Yeah, it was the work ethic. I could not have done it without you, seriously. But yeah, first of all, I wanted to thank all of you, especially our writers and all our contributors for submitting their work and making this anthology possible. Because really, without your creativity and flow of just insights and thoughts and words, like we wouldn't have anything to publish in the first place. So like really, thank you. And I had like such a blast working with like every single one of you. Like you're all lovely people. And I was so struck by how like thoughtful and friendly and like insightful you all were about your work. Like I wish I was as insightful as you guys are about my own work. And I also wanted to make sure that everyone here knows like how important the work that you guys are doing is. Because when we were brainstorming this anthology, I was really drawn to, you know, like the subversive nature of what you guys are saying in all of your poems and short stories of, you know, saying and publishing that which is not usually said out loud or like in public because of, you know, social boundaries or whatever. And I think that there's, you know, like a fundamentally resistant power in what all of you are saying in your works, which is, you know, like breaking social etiquette and like leaning into controversial subject matter and like unsettling traditional literary forms. And like all of that was so striking to me. And I want you guys to know that like that resistant subversive power has not gone lost on me, and I don't want it to go lost on anybody here, which is why I'm saying it. When I was reading through all of these submissions for the first time, it was like all of the things that I've secretly thought but never said out loud were suddenly just on the page. And it was like the world was becoming a more honest, trusting place. And some things that Saad said earlier really struck me about how repressive regimes are using social media to shape the world to like invent their history. I love that line. But I think that's exactly what you guys are doing in like obviously a much better light. But with your works, it's like you guys are shaping a world in every single one of your texts. And so I just wanted to thank you for not only writing about the world, but for bringing a more thoughtful, nuanced, and open-minded version of the world into being. And that's all I want to say.
Thank you so much, Karine. That was so beautifully said. And you are absolutely right. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so with that, our celebrations are coming to a close this evening. But what an incredible evening. I mean, if the last 50 minutes did not speak for themselves, this is an incredible collection. So thank you all again for being part of it and for allowing, well, this is what happens when we're, sorry, she's a very loud dog, so I didn't want to subject everyone to her barking, but she's very sweet. Yeah, I guess this is what happens when we're all kind of sitting in each other's homes and we hear all of the noises around it, but that's okay. What I was going to say was thank you for allowing the Soapbox to be a home for your work. It is an honor and a privilege, and I'm so glad that we got to work together. So, again, I just want to give another round of applause to all of our contributors. Thank you all so, so, so much. And again, thank you to Karine for being such a fantastic editor and having this vision and bringing it to life. I'd also like to say a special thank you to Riley Valentine, who is not on screen, but she is here. She is the cover artist and the designer of this beautiful book. And in addition to the words that fill every page, she has the design that makes it so beautiful. So thank you, Riley. A huge thank you to the entire Soapbox team for making all of the work that we do here possible from this anthology and beyond. And thank you to everyone who joined us here this evening. We were all talking earlier before the event started, and T very rightfully said that without attendees and listeners and readers, then, you know, a big portion of the magic is lost. So thank you for being here and for celebrating with us and for giving ears and hearts to this work. Yeah, it is just such a treat to be here with you all this evening. It is a shame that we couldn't all gather together in person for our annual launch, but hopefully in the near future we'll be able to meet in person and gather in real time and connect in person. But this was a great alternative option for us, and I think we all fared very well. So last and certainly but not least, I do have to say, if you have not ordered your copy of the anthology yet, the link is now in the bio. Not in the bio, wow, I'm too Instagram focused. I've written that in too many captions. The link is in the chat, so you can pre-order your copy. You will not regret it. Thank you again for joining us tonight. Have a wonderful evening, and I hope to see you all very, very soon.
Thank you, everyone. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you next time.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
next time.